All in Just One Cookie by Susan E. Goodman, illustrated by Timothy Bush. They're on their way. I've got to get cookin', says Grandma, hanging up the phone. The butter is already out waiting. Grandma stoops and stretches to gather the rest of the ingredients for chocolate chip cookies.
Did I hear the word cookin'?
I think I have everything.
I wonder where all this comes from. I bet I can find out.
Who cares? Let's eat.
Ready, set, go! Check the recipe. Wash my hands.
Gotta go to the library. Gotta log on the internet. Paper, pencils, Grandma's encyclopedias.
So much work. I'm gonna need a snack.
Hooray!
Butter. Plop 1, says Grandma as the first stick of softened butter drops into the mixing bowl. And plop 2. Butter starts with a hungry Vermont cow, eating the grass and grain that help her make milk. A dairy cow can produce almost 50 pounds of the stuff a day. It takes 21 pounds of milk to make a pound of butter. Nowadays, farmers use machines to milk cows. Another machine then spins the milk around so fast that it comes apart. The heavier liquid flows outward, the lighter cream is pushed to the center and then up and out.
It says here that cows have 4 stomachs.
I wish I had 4 stomachs. I could eat 4 times more.
I feel seasick.
I thought cats liked milk.
To the churn, which swirls the cream into a crashing sea of milky foam. After a lot of slosh and jiggle, a grain of butter appears, then another and another. Soon, all of these grains get pushed along to be washed and drained.
All that churning used to be done by hand.
What a lot of work.
Pressed into shape, wrapped in paper, the butter is ready to sell.
Ready to sell means ready to eat.
Well worth the trouble.
This used to be such a quiet field. That was fun.
What's next?
Maybe the sweetest part of all. Sugar. Grandma pours in 3/4 of a cup of white sugar. Then she packs a measuring cup 3/4 full of brown sugar. When she turns it upside down, a brown soft pyramid falls into the bowl.
500 years ago, sugar was also called white gold because it was so expensive.
White gold? That's what I call my bones.
In Hawaii, sugarcane grows 20 feet high in fields as thick as jungles. Sugarcane is a grass, but one with stalks up to 3 inches across. Yikes! At the mill, huge rollers squeeze the chopped cane. They produce a waterfall of juice that is boiled into even thicker, even sweeter brown syrup. Just as the last liquid boils away, a few sugar crystals are added, and the sugar in the syrup plays follow the leader. One speck after another changes into brown crystals, or raw sugar.
Eating sugar gives you energy. And I think you've had enough.
Whee!
To become white sugar, these crystals get a shower that washes away their golden coat of molasses. But this cleaning turns them back into syrup so that water must, once more, be boiled away. Again, added sugar crystals help the rest grow into crystals, this time, white sugar. Brown sugar gets a shorter shower, so it keeps some of its molasses coating, and some of its deep flavor. Like white sugar, this dark brown syrup boils back into crystals. Slightly soft, slightly sticky, the brown sugar is packed into airtight plastic. That way it stays moist until Grandma uses it. 2 stalks of cane make just about the right amount of sugar for a batch of chocolate chip cookies.
Well, I see why they do all that stuff to it.
Vanilla.
Mmm.
A luscious smell drifts through the kitchen as Grandma drizzles a teaspoon of vanilla into the bowl. A new flower blooms on the vanilla vine, and the race is on. This tiny orchid stays open for less than a day and must be pollinated to produce its seeds. Farmers could transplant vanilla vines to Madagascar but not the little Mexican bees that visit each flower to spread its pollen. So farmers do the job themselves.
This is not my actual size.
Not us, silly. The vanilla pod. Mmm.
Better than perfume, she declares, putting a dab behind each ear. She beats the ingredients until they're creamy. The seed pods grow longer and longer. Each is picked as soon as the first streak of yellow colors its tip. The pods ripen by soaking up the morning sun and resting in an airtight box at night. Then they are bundled and sent to a factory to be chopped into pieces. A liquid is poured over them again and again until it takes on their scent and savor. This extract will be vanilla's richest taste to ice cream, cakes, and chocolate chip cookies.
Drying makes pods shrink.
I'm glad I don't have to take that many baths.
Maybe you'd smell this good if you did.
Eggs. 30 minutes after laying her last egg, a hen in New Hampshire starts making another one. It takes just a few hours to form the insides, then 20 more to make the shell. About a day later, between 5 and 11 a.m., she picks her favorite nest. It has red curtains around it. Hens like their privacy.
How's it going in there?
Grandma cracks one egg into the bowl and then another.
Done yet? Not yet.
This time, she beats the mixture until it's light and fluffy.
Most eggshells are white or brown, but some chickens lay rose eggs, bluish eggs, even avocado green eggs.
As long as the insides are the same.
Her egg rolls onto a moving conveyor belt underneath the nest. It joins thousands of others, traveling this egg highway out of the giant barn and through a tunnel to another building. They stream through a car wash for eggs that spin them and cleans them with warm water and brushes. The eggs pass over strong lights so people can see inside. Workers remove the cracked and dirties, making sure the rest are perfect, grade AA. Weighed and sorted into sizes, the eggs gently roll to their packing stations, where they are put into cartons. Long before a day has passed, the eggs are in a refrigerated truck heading toward a supermarket.
But I didn't know cats can drive. Well, I'm not crossing that road.
Then how will you get to the other side? Salt. Grandma spills a bit of salt when she pours it into the teaspoon measure. Grandma isn't superstitious, not really, but she tosses a pinch over her left shoulder. Grandma's salt comes from the Pacific Ocean. Water is pumped into shallow ponds near San Francisco. There, sun and wind start evaporating the water, coaxing it into the air. As the remaining water gets saltier, it's pumped into other ponds. Little creatures living in them turn the ponds into a rainbow of low-salt greens, saltier oranges, and saltiest scarlets. The tiny salt marsh harvest mouse lives only in a few places around San Francisco.
Yikes, a cat! The plants and animals in their salt ponds have their own unique food chain.
Everyone's eating but us.
Salt-loving algae and bacteria are food for brine flies and brine shrimp, are food for birds, fish, and other animals, are food for large predators. Eventually, the water contains as much salt as it can hold. When more water evaporates, the extra salt is forced to leave and drops to the bottom of the pond as solid crystals. At the end of the season, before winter rains reclaim its salt, farmers scrape up their harvest.
In many places, salt is still harvested by hand.
But not here. Out of the way down there. At the factory, the salt is washed with water so salty the crystals can't dissolve into it. This time, a machine evaporates the extra water away. Sifting sorts the crystals into different sizes, including the one for salt shakers and chocolate chip cookies. Baking soda.
Baking soda helps make cookies and cakes rise.
If I ate enough of it, would I get any taller?
Grandma scrapes a knife over the top of a measuring spoon so she can add a level teaspoon of baking soda. 50 million years ago, a huge lake sparkled in steamy sunshine. Over time, its water dried up. Layers of rock and dirt covered the lake bed. Today, this spot is a desert in Wyoming. Deep in the ground, miners use huge machines with twirling spikes to break into walls of trona, a mineral the lake left behind. Conveyor belts send the chunks back through miles of tunnels to be hoisted above.
Fossilized bones!
I think after 50 million years, they're too old for even. Hey, are those fish bones?
Crushed, then baked, washed, then dried, the mineral travels by train to the baking soda factory. There, it is dumped into a tank as big as a house, mixed with hot water and carbon dioxide gas, and poof! Chemical magic creates baking soda crystals. Once dried, the baking soda is boxed and ready to be measured, teaspoon by teaspoon, into chocolate chip cookies. Without it, Grandma's cookies would be pale and heavy.
I love this machine.
This Trona is amazing. It's used to make glass and soap and paper and
Cookies!
Flour. Next comes the flour. 2 1/4 cups.
If we keep adding ingredients, we'll never get to the eating part.
It used to take farmers in Kansas a day to harvest an acre of wheat by hand. Now, a combine gobbles 2 acres worth every hour. It cuts the wheat and separates out the seeds, or kernels, and pours them into a truck driving alongside. At the mill, flour making begins by cleaning these kernels. Millers vacuum them and pass them over magnets to remove dirt and straw, stones, and bits of metal.
This is hard. This is easy.
Grandma adds and blends, making sure each speck of white disappears into the mix. When the last of the flour hits the whirring beaters, a cloud puffs out of the bowl. Toothy rollers crush the kernels just enough to crack their outside covers and grind part of what's within. Jiggled through a stack of sifters, only the finest powder can make it to the bottom. The miller will grind the remaining chunks to make other types of flours. But this finest, purest flour is what goes into Grandma's chocolate chip cookies.
1 bushel of wheat makes enough flour for 75 batches of chocolate chip cookies.
Better tell Grandma to keep the oven on.
Chocolate.
Joy, Joy!
As Grandma sprinkles 2 cups of chocolate chips into the dough, a few fall on the counter. "What a delicious pity," says Grandma, popping them into her mouth.
Cocoa trees bloom year-round, so flowers, growing pods, and ripe fruit can all be on the same tree at the same time.
Around the world, in West Africa, Indonesia, Ecuador, and the Dominican Republic, the pods on cocoa trees grow to the size of footballs. When they're ripe, workers split them open with machetes. The beans inside are cream-colored, not brown, and taste bitter, not sweet at all. Off to an American factory, where the beans are roasted luscious brown, a machete cracks them open, gets their meat, or nibs, ready to crush into thick paste.
Joy, Joy! Sweet, gooey, chewy joy.
Then presses push all the liquid out of the goo until the remaining cakes of cocoa powder resemble the wheels of a railroad train. These wheels squeeze through giant rollers that mix them with cocoa butter, sugar, and vanilla. Another machine stirs the chocolate for hours, even days, until it is exactly right. Finally, dollops of hardening chocolate are ready for the starring role in chocolate chip cookies.
It starts as a flour, becomes a cake, and winds up as a cookie.
Best ingredient ever.
Uh-oh.
What?
It says here that dogs and cats can't eat chocolate.
Harmful? Dangerous? Poisonous? No!
Don't worry, I made a special cookie just for you. No chocolate chips.
Wow! Hooray!
I assumed you didn't want one.
No, I don't eat sweets.
I have a special one just for me.
Baking. Mounds of dough line each cookie sheet. Grandma slides them into her hot oven and sets the timer. In the oven, 375 degrees of heat start changing the dough. The butter and sugar melt quickly, and the mounds begin to spread. But they are rising too. Air, trapped inside the eggs when they were beaten, swells in the hot oven. Bubbles from the baking soda and steam from the melting butter lift the dough some more.
Fascinating process.
Will they be okay in there?
The mounds rise and spread, but not for long. The heat is also cooking the eggs and flour. Together, they harden the mounds into their final shape. Then the sugar and baking soda turn them an inviting golden brown. In about 10 minutes, the heat has done its job. The ingredients have become something new: chocolate chip cookies, ready to come out of the oven. A world of ingredients has gone into each of Grandma's cookies. Chocolate from West Africa, vanilla from Madagascar, and chocolate from Indonesia. Also, baking soda from Wyoming, salt from California, flour from Kansas, sugar from Hawaii, chocolate from the Dominican Republic, chocolate from Ecuador, butter from Vermont, and eggs from New Hampshire. The cookies are out and cooling when the doorbell chimes. "The world's sweetest music," Grandma exclaims. "Welcome."
We helped.
Once we're done eating, there's one more thing we have to do.
There is?
What?
We've got to get all of this out of the kitchen.
Oops.
Hi again.